For today's session, we'll be looking at how to run your accountancy practice without an office. We've brought together a fantastic panel who provide a great range of insights, and I'll be passing you over to Lily High shortly, who will be moderating today's panel.
Hello, hi everyone. So my name is Lily, as per the screen. Next up, we have Lawrence Chai. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks Lily. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Lawrence. I think a lot of you know me. So I'm set up my accounting firm in 2011, Free Accounting, to provide the SME all the affordable corporate professional service. So our mission is to be provide efficient, effective, yet economic service to our customer. So before that, I'm an auditor. So I'm working 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's no life. So that's I'm thinking that's not something I want. So that's why I decided to come out, start my own accounting firm, create a working environment, which my staff and myself can enjoy work-life harmony. So can break the working late norm in the accounting industry. That's what led me to start up the business in 2011. So of course, because of the culture we want, so we implement a lot of flexible work arrangement. Let the staff have the telecommuting, can work from home or stagger working hours. So that is something we have been promote all the while. So of course, when the circuit breaker comes, I believe is affect everyone. You just have 3 days to prepare. So we have to run our practice without an office, and a lot of function. Like reception is really quite tough to move them back home to work rather than in the office. So we also go through that. So yeah, we can share something more about how we manage to do that, as well as also my firm is still hiring at the same time because we are still expansion in overseas. So this year we actually just opened our Hong Kong office. So we are still hiring. As well as there's a 4 intern is going to join our firm. So we will share about how we manage the intern and the new hiring as well. Yeah, Lily.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Lawrence. It's so amazing how, like, in this kind of situation, you are still hiring internship. And I'm sure a lot of people here are very interested to know how you actually hire someone remotely without even, having that kind of connection, physically asking them question. And what about Lawrence? Lawrence, what's one thing that you think it's, for people who doesn't have, who has office, have been working in an office environment, what's one thing that you would give them to make them feel better, as in, remotely is absolutely possible?
I think through technologies, besides trust, of course, trust is definitely very important. But besides the trust, at the same time with the technology, generally, whichever work you can work in the office desk, as long as you are sitting in front of the desk, then actually you can work from home, technically for sure. Because it's the same. Yeah. You sit in the desk in the office, you are still using the laptop. You sit in the home, you're also using the laptop. So as long as you are using the laptop, generally you can work from home. So yeah, it's just that how the workflow you have to adjust. Like last time you maybe is getting the paperwork from the clients. This day we have to get the clients to scan to us instead of sending us the hard copy maybe. So we have to encourage the client go on cloud-based accounting software rather than the desktop-based that install in their office, which is no longer I can come to your office to do it. Yeah, so all this workflow we have to adjust accordingly lah.
Yeah. It's really interesting because for me, doing things efficiently remotely needs to be efficient, right? So efficiency comes from obviously trust and workflow and system. And I'm glad that you touched on system as well. So what kind of system would you recommend for people who like in terms of communicating and getting the workflow done accordingly when you can't actually see that person doing the exact thing?
Of course, as a accounting firms or audit firm, you need to have a practice management software or the audit software as well. So with the ISCA last year, I think they have work with SSC and IMDA, come out the accounting industrial plan. So with the industrial plan, they actually set up a SMP center. There's a lot of recommended software. Like the practice management is quite heavily funded. I think it's 70% or 80% funded for the software for implementation. So all this software like CRM you need this as part of the practice management usually come with it. So with the beside this also you definitely need an email system in the crowd, whether like Office 365 or G Suite. These are the two popular one. So with all these tools, you can actually having online video discussion, or you can incorporate all the file in the crowd. The email is in the crowd as well, the calendar, booking, etc. All is in the crowd. So and it's quite cheap. All this software, like every month, just pay $10 per month per user, and you can get all the tools and the software you need. Collaboration tool.
Yes. Yeah. It's true because there's so many systems out there that we can actually implement or trial and test, because obviously when you're starting to take your practice from offline to online, there's a lot of systems out there or apps or software that out there they are constantly promoting you to buy and to purchase, right? So how would you know that software or system is suitable for the particular practice?
Of course, there's a lot of choice in the market always. So I think if as a directors or as a management, you definitely have to go in depth to understand, to call those guys, come to demo maybe to see this suit you, what kind of customization you can do in the software to fit your environment, or then you may readjust your workflow to fit the recommended the workflow and recommended SOP, etc. So the software, I think the good thing is that I think it's Sky and SSC they do filter some, so they go through some which is I think is good for the SMP and the recommended. So we can scrim down the software list lah. So we'll focus on those, go through it. I think that is quite useful for the SMP. But for ours, because we actually doing the technology adoption even earlier. So we actually do our own customized CRM solutions in the year of 2012 or 2014. Yeah, 2014. We adopt our own CRM solutions, as well as we also adoption like Zero Software, QuickBook Online, the crowd accounting software, which is popular, I think, in the year of 2016 or 17, some around that time. So we also adopt that. So so there is something we go along. We have to constantly keep updated ourselves to understand what is the market, what is the software is being used. Then we will learn. Then we see whether is it suitable or not, and from there we will decide accordingly lah. As a start, you also can follow the recommendation. If you are not yet adopt anything yet, you also can look at the recommendation first, which have a grant support from the government. So it's quite a good start.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Lawrence. I would like to ask Lawrence about, because you were saying in an earlier webinar that you are hiring people. So how do you actually hiring people when you don't actually, visit them physically, because it's just a certain stage that you would go through when you talk to someone physically, you know that they are genuine and stuff like that. How do you actually go through this kind of process, Lawrence?
Okay, so actually for us, because we have an overseas office like Hong Kong, Malaysia as well. So a lot of time, I will not be able to physically there to do the interview. So our management team also the same. So they're used to it. So they will be perform the interview whether through a call or even a video call or like Zoom or Google Meet or etc. tools we are using to interview them. After the interview, of course, we will send them email for the test, etc. Then they will come back the test, then we will see the answer, then we see, okay, comfortable, then we will proceed accordingly to hire the staff and then do all the process online. We have a hybrid system, so we actually even like signature, we can accept for like they can just sign and scan back to us to do. Or they also can choose, like we will have a DocuSign, they can send them the email through DocuSign to sign the document digitally, also can. So we usually quite flexible. We also have a cloud-based storage with G Suite, so there's a Google Drive to store client document, so the document is there. Also, we have a server in-house, so we can access through VPN with our laptop. So all the data will be safely kept in our server, so we have the control as well. So we have a mixture with all these technologies. Then of course, at the same time, because we are expanding, so we still not enough manpower. Like so we like prepare the account, etc. Especially there's a peak period, so we still proceed with the intern accordingly. And we have to trust them lah. Of course, when we hiring intern, besides just hiring intern, we are also looking for future to join our firm. So that we have to trust them. If now they cannot be trusted, in future, how we expect them can be trusted to join us? So we also you give them a laptop, they will work from home. Of course, we have set restrict access because we have our in-house server, so we can control the access, so they will not access everything. So there's just a limited access for them. So generally, the security-wise, no issue. As well as we also recently we reference to the IMDA. There's a data protection policy, etc. So we are reference to that to set our data protection policy. As well as we recently are actually getting the data protection trust mark from IMDA. We are applying for that as well, so that to show our customer, give them the assurance that the data is always well protected and is secure.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, even though if you are, working in an office, security protocol is, one of the things that's important as well. And if you can control it within an office, I'm sure you can control it anywhere else, because they're all in the server, they're all in cloud, right? So I think in that sense, security wise, it's not something that that is not possible. Would you say?
Yeah, generally is of course in the office, generally the security is definitely much more better because we have a firewall to protect the network, etc. When they work from home, yes, generally there will be some compromise. But we still will be protected, the laptop, like with an antivirus at least. So all the laptop you should have an updated antivirus. You control it.
Yep.
So we have a centralized server to control that. So with the antivirus protection, should be safe for them to work from home for a period of time. Yeah, but of course it will not be forever. It's not possible. But everyone will know it's going to be next 3 or 4 months. Even when after circuit breaker, we will progressively, the workforce will come back. It will not 100% come back. It may be 10%, 20%, progressively increase back to maybe 90% or 80% or 100%. So we have to use to it. So we're trying to adjust the security IT department. That will be more frequently do the IT maintenance, checking any unusual activity, etc. So that's the best we can do to protect the network as well. To make sure the security is always is safe always.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that all our clients want, isn't it? To make sure that the security is there. But like what we have mentioned before, whatever values that you have in your company, just go for that. If let's say protocol, security, confidentiality is the utmost important, it's good to invest in, those kind of apps, or, a contractor or whoever expert that knows that kind of area to make sure that the security is well looked after, either in office or in, without like a virtual office, right? So thank you for your insight, Lawrence. Question number 1, all are from Anonymous. So any recommendation, top 3 that are reliable in terms of security and not as expensive? Since we are talking about security, this would be, a Lawrence question. So what would you, what's the top 3 reliable in terms of security and not as expensive?
I think this question probably referred to whether it's an audit software or accounting software. Because if down laptop security wise, you can easily get the antivirus, right? From Micro or Norton, we get protected. But I believe this question is referred to like accounting software or audit software. Then of course audit software, there is some ISCA is recommended in the SMP Center website. You can have a look on that. You can search in Google easily. You search SMP Center, you can locate that. So of course, in terms of accounting software, is quite commonly in the market. You can see like Xero, QuickBook Online, or Financial. Especially like Financial, I think they have a free software. If your transaction is less than 10, it's just an investment, rental income, etc. Then it basically is free using the cloud-based accounting software. So in terms of security-wise, usually this software as well, they also have a security document to assure you how they are protected your data. It's very commonly they are follow the bank security standard. So there's a guideline given to them to protect the data. So yeah, it's as good as you can trust the bank. Most of the time you can trust this cloud service provider. And they are famous in the market I think almost 10, I think 10. Like even like Financial has come from MYOB. That one I think 20 or 10, more than 10 or 20 years. It's really been there for a long period of time. Yeah, so there's the security part, I think there is.
Yeah. And it's good that you touch on like accounting software, for example, Xero, because I would say 90% of my clients are on Xero. And Xero is the utmost, like very, very secure in terms of their platform, because that's one of their top priority, just to make sure that all the things that's in their, back end are securely protected and stuff. And just to sign into that software, you need to set up like a two-way authentication, or like I know currently in Australia, to lodge our tax, we need to it's all online. I will just need to enter the code, and we can go in and lodge our tax for themselves or their own clients. So which technologies besides Zoom help you in your firms to stay connected to your clients and colleagues? I think it's really good, like, in terms of, because I'm sure in Singapore as well, in Australia, we all look for work-life balance. But the thing is, we don't know what is work-life balance, because if you're working, yes, you'll be working long hours, and you'll be getting home at 9 or whatever hours, and you don't get to spend time with your wife or your kids. But if you're at home, you don't tend to turn off. You'll be constantly working. If you're like me, you'll be constantly working throughout the midnight. But I think it's important to really, set the boundaries and stuff, and see what the culture it is that you want to set for your own practice, and go from there. There's still a few questions. I'm just going to try and answer all the question here. So any particular cloud ERP you would recommend, especially free to use, then maybe subscribe? Which would be the top 3 that you would recommend, Lawrence, so that they can actually, test and try and test?
The free one, I think I'm not sure. I think Billy got shared. I think they are using the Sugar CRM. There is some free CRM software, but I know the famous one usually is either the Microsoft CRM or the SAP. These are the 2 very commonly for the mid-tier or the bigger firms that will be customized, using for customization. Of course, the market also, there's a lot of CRM software, but most of the time they're using the practice management software is built in with the CRM solution already. So should be enough.